These two teenagers have realized that they are reliving their deaths on this bus repeatedly, but they cannot figure out how to break the loop. A man and his son are traveling in a car when they pull up next to a bus at a red light. The little boy admires the bus, but just as the light turns green and the bus moves forward, an explosion destroys the bus. Next, a girl named Lee Shi-king and a boy named Xiao He-yun wake up on the very same bus. Lee Shi-king appears stressed and panicked, as if she just had a bad dream. Xiao He-yun sees her sweating and tries to take out a tissue from his bag to offer her. In the process, he accidentally hits his elbow on her right breast. He apologizes, and she just looks at him. Suddenly, her expressions change. She grabs his hand and yells to the whole bus that he fondled her while she slept. Xiao He-yun is shocked at this allegation, since he did no such thing. All the passengers are outraged. One guy starts making a video. Lee Shi-king asks the bus driver to stop the bus so that she can take the boy to the police station to file a report. However, the bus driver and all the passengers assert that the bus cannot be stopped randomly. It will stop at the next bus stop, and there will be a police station there. Lee Shi-king seems adamant to find a way to make the bus stop. She even tells the driver to just let her off and go, but the driver doesn't listen. Lee Shi-king sees an overhead bridge approaching and starts panicking. She makes a racket and demands that she be let off. The driver finally gives in and stops the bus. As Lee Shi-king is about to step out, she stops and turns around. She tries to get other people to get off with her, saying that she will need witnesses at the police station. However, nobody agrees to join her. She forcefully pulls out Xiao He-yun, and the driver, who's had enough, drives away. As she sees that she is off the bus, a relieved expression appears on her face. Xiao He-yun is confused. He asks her if she wants to go to the police station, but she refuses and walks away. Bewildered, Xiao He-yun grabs a taxi and leaves. As Lee Shi-king is walking down the road, a massive explosion is heard in the distance, and a distracted bike rider runs into her, knocking her out. Firefighters arrive on the scene, and it is revealed that the bus has been destroyed in an explosion. Meanwhile, Lee Shi-king is brought to a hospital with a concussion. At the hospital, Lee Shi-king sees the victims of the explosion arriving, and among them, she sees Xiao He-yun, whose body is thoroughly burnt. His taxi managed to make it to the red light right when the explosion happened. She feels uneasy. At the scene of the explosion, Captain Zhang and his subordinate Jiang Feng arrive and report to Director Du. They discuss that the explosion was caused because of a bike rider that cut the path of the bus unexpectedly, causing it to swerve into a petrol tanker. Jiang Feng tells Captain Zhang that the bus had 10 people in it at the last stop, but only 8 bodies have been found, and CCTV footage has shown that 2 people got off the bus right before the explosion, at a place where there was no bus stop. He suggests that these 2 individuals are suspects, and Captain Zhang tells him to investigate further. Jiang Feng arrives at the hospital to interrogate Lee Shi-king. He asks her why she got off the bus at a non-designated stop, but she has trouble recalling due to her concussion. Jiang Feng starts getting frustrated because he thinks she is a suspect and that she is just pretending. He goes out of the room to take a call, and then Lee Shi-king starts remembering. She says that she had a heart problem on the bus and asked to be let off so that she could call an ambulance. She remembers Xiao He-yun offering to get off and waiting for the ambulance with her. The investigators ask her how she got the head injury, and then she remembers a different story. She remembers accusing Xiao He-yun of fondling her. Jiang Feng gets even more frustrated that Lee Shi-king is continuously changing her story. Captain Zhang arrives, and he speaks to Lee Shi-king more gently. He shows her a video of her and Xiao Henyu getting off the bus, and suddenly she remembers everything. However, what she realizes makes her sick. Captain Zhang gives her some water, and she notices that he has trouble opening the bottle with his right hand. Finally, Lee Shi-king decides to tell him the full truth. She explains that she experienced something like a dream within a dream. She got on the bus from her university and fell asleep in the back. She woke up from the sound of a vintage phone ringtone, and right as she woke up, she hit her head on a post. Then she saw a bright glare and felt her face burn up. She remembers feeling herself floating away. However, just then, she woke up on the bus again. She thought it was just a dream, but her head was still hurting from hitting the post. She checked her head for injuries and found nothing. Then she heard the ringtone again, and this time she saw it clear as day. An explosion destroyed the bus. However, before she knew it, she woke up on the bus once more. By now, she was aware that something was wrong, and it wasn't just a dream. Jiang Feng interrupts her and lashes out that people have died, and she is sitting here telling crazy stories full of lies. Captain Jiang tells him to leave. Li Shiqing asks Jiang if he believes her, and he shakes his head. However, he asks her to continue with the story. Li Shiqing explains that the third time she woke, she immediately tried to get off the bus, but no one would let her. The fourth time she tried pulling the emergency stop buttons, but those didn't work either. The fifth time she tried faking a heart attack, and Xiao Heiyun offered to step down with her, but a woman on the bus offered her pills to ease her symptoms until they got to a hospital. Li Shiqing reveals that the fifth time she saw clearly how the explosion happened. She describes that a bike rider cut the bus path and caused it to swerve into a petrol tanker. This catches Jiang's attention. He is curious as to how she can know that if she wasn't even on, or anywhere near, the bus at the time of the explosion. Li Shiqing continues the story and explains that the sixth time she woke up, she accused Xiao Heiyun of sexual harassment, and that's when they managed to get off. Jiang asks if she's ever had symptoms like this before, and Li Shiqing explains that she is not crazy. She even had the doctors scan her brain because she wasn't sure herself. Just then, Jiang Feng calls Jiang and tells him that Xiao Heiyun is dying. Right as the life leaves his body, Xiao Heiyun wakes up on the bus next to Li Shiqing. He thinks he saw a dream, just like her. Li Shiqing wakes up and notices that he is behaving strangely. She realizes that he is also in the time loop with her now and tries to explain it to him, but he doesn't believe her. However, as he remembers the details of his dream, he panics and tries to get off the bus. Li Shiqing tries to warn him that it won't work because she has already tried all this, but he doesn't listen. His antics get him in trouble, and the bus explodes. In the next cycle, he again impulsively tries to get off, despite Li Shiqing's protest, and the bus explodes again. In his third cycle, Xiao Heiyun finally calms down and comes to terms with what is happening to them. The two discuss why this is happening, but neither has a clue. However, Li Shiqing concludes that Xiao Heiyun came into the cycle after she pulled him off the bus in her sixth cycle. He wasn't aware of the cycle before that. The two discuss that getting off the bus clearly doesn't work, because they ended up back here, even after getting off in the sixth cycle. Hence, they decide they will warn the driver, get him to avoid the collision with the petrol tanker, and prevent the explosion. Just as the bus reaches the traffic light, Xiao Heiyun warns the bus driver about the oncoming bike rider, and they manage to avoid the collision with the petrol tanker. The two breathe a sigh of relief, thinking that they have now escaped the cycle. But just then, Li Shiqing hears the vintage phone ringtone again and panics. An explosion occurs, destroying the bus, and both Li Shiqing and Xiao Heiyun reawaken. The cycle continues. Li Shiqing realizes that she's heard the ringtone only in her first, second, and 10th cycle, and each time it was followed by an explosion. After some thinking, she deduces that there is a bomb on the bus, and the ringtone is the sound of its timer or detonator. They decide they need to get off the bus, and they play the sexual harassment trick again. As soon as they get off, Li Shiqing calls the police and tells them about the bomb. After she's given enough details, Xiao Heiyun makes her hang up and turn off her phone. The police send a unit toward the bus and assign a unit to find Li Shiqing. Meanwhile, Li Shiqing deduces that the bomb only exploded in 3 cycles where she didn't disturb the driver, causing him to lose focus and swerve around the bike rider. She worries that if this time the bus crashes into the tanker, the police will think there was no bomb. Xiao Heiyun assures her that the police will find the bomb in the rubble. Li Shiqing and Xiao Heiyun climb a bridge to see if the bomb will go off, or if the police will stop it in time. The bomb goes off. Captain Jiang, who has been briefed about Li Shiqing's call, is told that the explosion was caused by a collision with a petrol tanker, but he follows his gut and tells the firefighters to look for a bomb anyway. Meanwhile, Li Shiqing and Xiao Heiyun realize that the police will find them soon, so they need to get their story straight. Xiao Heiyun says that they can only tell the truth. The police will either believe them or think they are crazy people and let them go, because there is no real proof or motive tying them to the bomb or the explosion, and without proof or motive, the police cannot keep them detained. On the other hand, if they lie and there are flaws in their stories, they will come off as even more suspicious. Li Shiqing agrees, but she is uncomfortable with this idea. Meanwhile, Captain Jiang is told that the two suspects have been located, and he and Jiang Feng head out. Xiao Heiyun and Li Shiqing decide to recap their stories so that they tell the police the same thing. They note down the time when they awakened in each cycle and the time and cause of the explosion. They notice that in each cycle they woke up 1 minute earlier than the last cycle. This is why in the first cycle, Li Shiqing barely got time to see how the explosion happened. Li Shiqing expresses concern over the fact that the police might not let them go so easily. She tells Xiao Heiyun that she has spoken to them once in the 6th cycle, and their judgment is quite acute. Just then, Jiang and Jiang Feng arrive and take the duo to the police station. The two individuals are placed in separate interrogation rooms for questioning. Jiang reports to Director Du that Xiao Heiyun claims he just met Li Shiqing on the bus today, but his observation shows that these two people have known each other for a while. Jiang arrives to interrogate Li Shiqing, while Jiang Feng interrogates Xiao Heiyun. Xiao Heiyun tells the truth about the cycles that he's been through today, but Jiang Feng thinks he's lying and loses his patience. Meanwhile, Jiang calmly asks Li Shiqing to open up. She asks Jiang a question and refers to him by his name, and this catches his attention. He asks Li Shiqing how she knows his name, when he has not once told her what it is all day. She reveals that he has told her his name, but it was in a different time loop. She further proves it by telling him that she saw him struggle to open a bottle cap with his right hand. This alarms Jiang further because he does have a medical issue in his right arm. Li Shiqing says that she and Xiao Heiyun have been in a time loop all day. Jiang asks her to tell him everything, and she details the entire story from the first cycle to the last. Xiao Heiyun does the same for Jiang Feng. He is less receptive to the story and leaves Xiao Heiyun to think about his answer for a while. The police ponder over what they know so far, and Jiang gets upset that Jiang is considering the time loop story. Jiang says that if they actually had something to do with the explosion, why would they call the police and bother to give a far-fetched false statement? Next, Director Du orders that both suspects be tested for drugs, but the results show no drugs in their systems. The interrogators switch places and try a new approach, but they are cut short when they learn that firefighters have found traces of a bomb in the remains of the bus. This officially makes this a bombing case instead of a traffic accident, and that makes Li Shiqing and Xiao Heiyun the primary suspects. Xiao Heiyun is told that he is being legally detained. Meanwhile, Li Shiqing falls asleep in the interrogation room and awakens back inside the bus, apparently alone. Reset is a 2022 Chinese TV series based on a novel that was incredibly well received in China and internationally. The show's popularity was primarily attributed to the chemistry of the two protagonists and its well-written plot. Thank you for watching. Be sure to like our channel and subscribe if you enjoy content like this. Also, let us know what movie you would love us to recap for you.